You always want to bathe in a beautiful crystal clear river or lake, but sometimes appearances are deceiving, and depending on where you bathe, it can be very dangerous. If you want to find out more surprising things related to any area of life in the world around us, do not forget to subscribe, hit the bell and leave your like. Let's start. The Amazon Basin. The reasons that the Amazon Basin in South America is dangerous are many. First off, there are so many predators in its waters that a light and breezy swim might lead to a horrible degeneration via getting eaten. A few of these unsavory predators include things like piranhas, barracudas, and all the little critters that attract them. Kipu Falls. Kipu Falls is one of the more popular tourist destinations. It's also a place where many tourists have drowned. While it's not 100% certain exactly why people have drowned there, several have still succumbed to the waves. Much folklore surrounds these deaths, including claims of ancient gods and hidden whirlpools. The most likely explanation, however, is just a high amount of traffic. With such a great abundance of tourists, especially those of an inebriated caliber, the more likely people are to drown. The reasoning is exactly the same with shark attacks or other such things. The more people in the water, the more likely some subset of those people will be attacked. Eagle's Nest Sinkhole. This sinkhole, located in Florida, is a place that would be okay to swim, but dangerous to dive. The hole, dipping down below a staggering 300 feet, 44 meters, has been the cause of at least 10 deaths. And because of this, the hole had been closed indefinitely to ensure people's safety. It's the danger of the holes inside the sink that make this place one you'd rather avoid. If you're an experienced diver, however, you can enter the hole. You'll just want to stop as soon as you make it to the sign underwater. What it warns of is what we already told you: too deep in and you might get stuck. The result could be that you drown. Lake Karachay. Lake Karachay is a lake located in central Russia. It is one of the most toxic lakes on Earth. Why? Because the Russian government had polluted it with toxic waste during an era in which regulation on such things wasn't really a thing. As a result, it has gained such a toxic nature that swimming in it could kill you within an hour. Fortunately, the government has begun to take steps to fill in the lake with concrete. As a result, the lake will not exist for much longer. This is good news to the local inhabitants of the area, as they will no longer need to warn their children against the perils of the lake. Samaesan Hole. Thailand is one of those places that has made many of our bucket lists. It's home to some of the greatest beaches, most beautiful scenery, and food that many of us would die for, especially if we have nut allergies. Anyways, another dangerous area in the land of Thai is Samaesan Hole. The Samaesan Hole is one of the deepest areas to dive in all of Thailand. Unfortunately, the hole is extremely dark, leading to near zero visibility at some points. Because of this, it can be easy to get lost. This location is not kind to the novice swimmer. You might just lose which way is up. In case you didn't know, this confusion can be lethal. Bubbly Creek. Bubbly Creek is an area of the Chicago River that you'd be advised not to swim in. There are several reasons for this. Primary among them is the amount of disgusting runoff that will make its way into the river. Much of the lake, for instance, has been the subject of discarded meat, fecal matter, and other loathsome things. Over time, this stuff began to decay, leading, ostensibly, to the bubbles that exist in this lake. Also, the lake has become so toxic that fish and other animals cannot live in it. If you're looking for a nice place to swim, then, you might want to find yourself a nice beach elsewhere. The Chicago River is not the place to be. Hanakapiai Beach. Hawaiian beaches are lavished over, and for good reason. Their shores are the location of sandy beaches, coral reefs, and even horrible sunburns. But they're also sometimes home to powerful rip tides. On this beach specifically, Hanakapiai Beach, there has been something like 80 deaths. This is something to consider if your plan is to avoid being pulled out to sea. Don't be one of those people who tries to brave the waves. Once they're crashing, the currents they hide beneath can be deadly. One person, for instance, had seen 2 children pulled away out to sea. As they were slowly dragged down the shore, their father had jumped in to save them. Fortunately, the beachgoers were able to signal for help to nearby helicopters and the boys were rescued. The Nile River. The Nile River, despite its reputation as the cradle of humanity, is one of those places that you should avoid if you want to swim. And why, you ask? Well, because it's full of terrible crocodiles. While they're not necessarily the most dangerous of animals to encounter while swimming, they are one of the most likely to kill you. There are approximately 100 crocodile attacks per year in the North African Nile, for instance. When compared with shark attacks, coming in at a measly 16 attacks per year, this is quite the number. If you're scared of crocodiles, then, and would rather leave the body with all your limbs intact, you might want to consider avoiding the Nile. Jacob's Well. While it doesn't actually belong to someone named Jacob, the lake here is something you would like to avoid. Located in south-central Texas, this lake is something to contend with. It is, however, also one of the cooler lakes in that its waters are so crystal clear that, if you wanted, you could look straight to the bottom. The lake is also cool in that it has a system of tunnels and caves beneath it which enable you to explore the depths in ways not normally afforded to such lakegoers. But with the ample beauty comes danger. Many people, in other words, will embark into the depths and never come out. The challenge of navigating the underwater tunnels is more than they expect, and they don't realize until it's too late. The Boiling Lake. The Boiling Lake in Dominica is another of the most dangerous places to swim. What makes this place so downright dangerous is the presence of scalding hot magma beneath its surface. This magma induces the water to reach the temperature of boiling point, literally causing the lake to boil. Yikes. So if you've ever scalded yourself with boiling hot water, you'll know the pain that this lake would cause. The pain would be worse, however, in that after a few brief moments your entire body would be surrounded by the stuff. If you'd like to avoid the warmest swim of your life, then obviously we'd recommend that you avoid the boiling lake. But what about somewhere less obviously dangerous, but even more deadly? Thank you very much for watching the entire video. If you liked it, give it a like, and if you want to know more curiosities about any area of life, do not hesitate to subscribe and hit the bell.